What's up, guys? Today we're playing Epic 7, and today we're on a subscriber account, Snow Me the Way. Now, I've been playing on this account for about 2 weeks and making progress. Honestly, I wish we were making a little bit more progress, but I just haven't had the time to play as much as I would normally. Now, today, what I would like to do is roll some gear, see exactly where we stand on our goals, and then hopefully gear out some more heroes to make that happen. Let's start today by doing some summons. That Genoa who just came out seems to be pretty good. I went against a General Elvira team and it was just devastating. So really, I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see how he evolves in the meta. So we haven't got anything with the Covenant summons. Let's go for this one here. Not sure that I need anything on this account in particular, but we do get a 5-star. That is amazing. Let's hope it's someone. Oh, I already have Prow. Oh, it's Shu. The warrior and the knight always mess me up. This one is Shu. She's fantastic. If you haven't seen her, she does all kinds of things. I'm not even sure I should go over her. She has a crit resist and immunity on her S number 3, which is an AoE. And when it's on cooldown, then she has a chance to do a counter attack. She has the Fush Fush, and that does a ton of damage, ruins your day, and she's really happy while she's doing it as well. And then her number 1 has a chance to proc her number 2 for even more annoying games, and she has an exclusive equipment, which raises this up by like 40% or something like that. She's fantastic. Do not have her built on this account, but we are going to build her because we're going to use her into Nightmare Karkanis. Let's go ahead with some Moonlight summons. Looks like I have 3 to go. Have not gotten anything good on this account yet, and we still get nothing good. He needs an Arrowwell. That's what he needs. We do get a 4-star here. Let's see what we get. Ah, I got it now. That's a warrior. See, I'm smart. I picked these things up. Inferno Kawazu, fantastic. Mike Powers. We are going to build an Inferno Kawazu. He does not have this hero built yet. Just amazing, right? I use him all the time. He is great. Definitely worth your build. And then, of course, our streak just continues with a Penelope. She seems awesome. She looks awesome. I am not awesome at using her, so I just stopped building her. She seems like she will just wreck face, and then all I do is face palm, which is not the result I'm going for. So I do not recommend Penelope, mostly because I'm terrible at it. Over the last few weeks, we've had a lot of events. I'm doing the Ran story event, and unfortunately, I think I went a little bit too far. I hit auto battle and it just went crazy. I don't think I actually need 6875, which is what I had somewhere. So we're going to collect these rewards and then move on to the next one. If you guys are not doing the character side story, you definitely need to do it. It doesn't take super long, but try not to farm out more than you have to, right? We had, I think, pretty close to the max. Let's see exactly how much we needed. This is such a great way to get a lot of materials, including those runes and more summons and everything. I like it. If you are struggling to get your heroes to Friendship 10, make sure you're using max level heroes that are not Friendship 10 when you're farming this. That'll give you the most stigma. And actually, look at that. We were only 25 off. I think it's 68.50 that maxes out the entire shop. And then we're going to go ahead and we are going to start a new side story. Now, when you're first starting out, the side story that I recommend is Tamarin, and if you can get to it, Brieg. Now, this hero already has Tamarin and Brieg. He doesn't have Elvira, though, and she is so good. So we are going to start the Elvira one. Why not? I think this will be a pretty fun one. If you don't need any heroes, that's okay. Just go ahead and do the one that has the catalyst that you need. And speaking of Genoa, I think that's how you pronounce this, Genoa, hate this design, but he is turning out to be pretty good. Let's go ahead and you would need the same amount. It should be 68.50. Looks like I'm about 100 over here. We're going to collect all this one as well. This guy plus Elvira, man, it was toxic. That's what it was. It was toxic. And then on top of that, they decided to release the Moonlight Politis. Now, I don't know if you guys had a chance to check out that Moonlight Politis, but I'm just gonna say right now, it's gonna be Cancer. back in the day we had the Bazaar meta, and everyone hated it because he was built pretty fast and you didn't need to have any effectiveness, right? Because you can soul burn on that S number 3 to ignore effect resist. Now they've basically released Bazaar number 2, except that she has a way higher base speed. She is a dark hero, so um you can't miss, and she brings along a dual attack on her S number 1. The only great thing about her, or I guess the only bad thing about her if you're a whale and you want to completely own the meta, is that she's not a mage, so she can't carry her own book. So that's the best thing, but guaranteed that's going to be the new cancer. One very interesting thing that this player has done is they did not finish Royal Capital as Macalus. So what we had seen is we were about 40% complete. That means that they went to the boss, they beat him, and then they just left. They didn't try and explore anymore, and they didn't make it to 100%. This is very important to make it to that 100% because you're going to get the Queen Guard's badge, which we're going to pick up right now. Now, this is going to be for level 88 gear. And especially when you're first starting out, it's going to be amazing. So we're going to go to Asmaclus of Cycle, and this is often referred to as Hell Raid. That's what the old school players used to call it. But now it's just called Normal Raid, Normal Hell, Normal Not Nightmare. I don't know. Let's go inside. We have 30 of these entry tokens. Now we're not going to use any one of them, so I'll show you how to do that. When you come into Alexa here, you can buy one of these every single day. So if you have a bunch of these Queen Guard badge, then you can come in every single day and buy one. It's not one per month. You don't have to waste them on gear that you don't want. You can come in every single day and leave without using any of your entry tokens. Now, what I recommend you do is only buy the first 4 items, which are the level 88 gear. This is going to be stuff that has max substats, is absolutely fantastic. And for some of you, you will not have access to this. Like this player cannot do the Katie's 13, so they can't get this penetration necklace. This weapon, amazing as well. And I would say probably a last one would be this immunity set. While it is good, it's not universal, or it's not as universal as the other ones. So what I would recommend is to buy a couple of the weapons, go in and buy a couple of the necklaces, and then buy a ring. Then if you want to get into immunity, then go ahead and farm immunity. But most of you are going to be doing this anyway as you're farming out the rage set. Everything else, just ignore this stuff, not worth your time. Now he already has a few of these weapons, so we're going to buy the necklace and we're going to roll it today. Now, what we want to do here is if you go back here and go through the portal, you're going to use your token. So don't do that. You want to click yield. You're not going to lose your token. And now we see that we have 30 tokens still. This works in every one of the labyrinth. So if you're leveling up through labyrinth and you somehow like wipe before you're able to do a camp, just yield and it'll be all good. And speaking of that, what we want to do now that we've entered into the Hell Raid and working toward Nightmare, is I want to get 10 of these tokens per month. Once you get to 10 tokens, then you can do one of these past level labyrinth and get some of your ancient coins. Now, I recommend doing Nixied Sanctum, and you can pick any one of them, but I pick 5. And that's because it's going to give you about 250 to 300 ancient coins. You're going to pretty much one-shot everything, and it's going to be much easier and much faster than doing Malachus Consciousness, which will give you roughly the same amount of gear and the same amount of ancient coins. So make sure that you're never maxing out on these compasses, and make sure that you're trying to buy your ancient bug charm 10 times a month. That way, when you get into nightmare mode, that you're able to do that every single month without any problem. One area that we have been making progress on is the pets. Now, the pet does come at a interesting cost. This is a long-term goal and not something you really need to spend a whole bunch on right away. But if you're getting a lot of gold, then I would go ahead and start buying tickets. I've bought probably 15 million gold of tickets on this account so far, and you can see I'm still at 93, so it's not really affecting me. What this person has done is they have rushed their lobby pet. There's really no reason to rush a lobby pet because it's not tied to auto battle and you're not really getting anything by taking them to 5 star. Also, we see that they only have one S here, and this is not one of the S's that we really want. So this puts us in a weird sort of predicament. We can sacrifice the pet and we'll get 120 of the crystal memories, which is how much it takes to get to this 4 star. But we're going to lose some things. We're going to lose the affinity, and we're also going to lose the max onto this level 40. So if you really like this aesthetic, then I would level up a lobby pet to 4 stars and then synthesize them. The affinity will transfer over, and also the max level will transfer over. You don't have to do the 200 to guarantee that they go to 5 star. If they do, then that's cool. If they don't, then at least you'll have maybe a triple S pet here. Now, another thing that they have done is leveled up a few of these 4 stars, which did turn out pretty well. This one is for Spirit Altar. There's only 3 S's and only one possibility of combinations. You have the common, the greater, and then down here somewhere we have the epic. So we're going to level this one up and we're going to try and get to 4 stars. You don't, again, have to go to 5 star if you don't want to. You can get this to 4 stars. You can synthesize them, and this one's protected. We can synthesize this pet. We can choose to keep this and then just take the 20% chance to go to a 5 star. If it makes it, it makes it. And if it doesn't, at least you'll have the triple S, which will be pretty good. We don't necessarily have to go to another max level. This one here is the Haunt Pet. Now, what I like from the Haunt Pet is to have one additional piece of equipment, double crafting materials, and then the chance for the charm. So we do have that somewhere else. We have this one and then this one as well. So once we take this one up to 5 stars, and I do recommend this one because it's the hunt pet, that we're going to take this lesser charm. You can also take the reforged materials, but we don't have as much problem with reforging as we used to now that we have the expeditions. Then going down the list, we have the AP and side story. Again, we only have one combination of SSS. I think that I have the other one right here, so that is good. Then we do have the rest of the combinations as well for our lobby pet. So what this leads us to is just leveling up more, right? We have a few 4 stars. We want to level up some more 4 stars and start to take them to 5 star. This is going to take several weeks because we can only buy 50 or so of the summoning tickets per week. You're going to get some during the event, but long, long process. Don't fret on leveling up your pets. At least get them to 3 star. We have them at 4 star. Now we're going to have to combine them and move them into 5 star. The new arena season starts next week, and unfortunately, I was not able to get all of these. Make sure that when you are doing your arena, that you're using all your tickets every day, even if that means losing to one person 100 times a week. You need to have the conquest points to get all of your arena gear, and I think I'm missing like another 2 of them, so I wasn't able to do it. So what we're gonna do today is we are going to level up our helmet. This is gonna be super fun, I think, maybe, possibly. Let's go all the way to plus 15. I like it. Let's do it. Okay, I think I saw a 91 there. So I want a 90 or higher. I did roll 12 speed with some defense and effect resist, which is great. I would like to see health here. Disappointed this is a effectiveness helmet, but we could still use this on a lot of heroes, especially something like a Tamarin, right? Where we can take a little bit of a hit to health for more effectiveness and effect resist for a lot of like Nightmare Raid and things like that. Now let's go into our necklace into the necklace and see what we can get. We're going to go all the way to plus 15. Now, if it rolls really high into health, of course, we have things like Shu and Apoc Ravi. If it rolls really high into attack, we have other things like Aiden, we have Rylet, we have Zahak. Those are all really good. So no matter how this rolls, you're going to have someone that can use it on. If it rolls some health and some attack, look for a bruiser. But don't forget, if you have a health-based attacker like Shu, and it rolls some attack, they're still going to get some damage from this, so you're not losing anything putting in all those heroes. We see, I think 101. Pretty good. It did exactly what we said. Exactly what we said. It rolled some health and some attack, some speed, and we got one roll into crit chance, which is pretty good. Now, because this is a pen set, right? Pen set, I need to have at least 10 or more onto every one of these pieces to get to 100% crit chance because we're not using a crit chance set. So I want to see two rolls here. Let's say that you go speed pen. I want to see at least one roll into every piece on crit chance and two rolls into at least a few of the pieces, or else we're never going to hit that mark, which is very important for our PvP units. One thing this player needs, and a lot of players need, is Terranor Guard. Now I have him into the Grace of Growth. This is going to help you to save resources building him because you really don't use him very much after you finish out Abyss. But while you're finishing Abyss, he's going to be amazing from level 103 all the way up until the end. He has a imprint concentration for the critical hit chance. This will help you to lower your gear requirements a little bit, but if you're not 100% crit chance, it's really not the end of the world. But this will help gearing him out a little bit easier if you want to use one of those imprints. Now, what I would like to do here is I'd like to build him onto a rage crit set. That's going to help me to do a lot of damage. And for every piece of gear that I have, I want to have attack, crit chance at a minimum. Then I want to see crit damage and I want to see effectiveness. If you have some that go into speed, that's okay. You can build other heroes or you can make him a little bit faster, but he really doesn't need to be very fast. He needs to be able to do damage because we're bringing along a lot of dual attack chances. We're bringing Adventure Ras, we're bringing Tamarin, we're bringing Camilla or Kitty Clarissa, and all of those have those dual attack chance. So that's really what I want to see out of him. Now, if you're going to build something like a Sermia, right? Well, now we need something more close to attack, crit chance, crit damage, and then defense or HP. We don't really need effectiveness in there. Now, if you do have some pieces that roll really high into HP or really high into defense, I challenge you to branch out a bit. Try and find other heroes that you can use it on who will do nice damage. I have a Landy that's at like 230 speed onto a rage set because I had these crazy speed rolls onto the rage gear, and she does great damage. She works fantastic. So don't throw away those pieces just because they didn't roll exactly how you wanted to for your slow attacker. One good thing about rolling gear for Terranor Guard is that he can use the same kind of gear as something like a Sigrid or something like a Baiken or something like a Soul, right? So even if you're done using him, you can still put that onto a different hero, or you can just leave it on him forever and use him into the world boss. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to start to try and roll some of this. I have a couple pieces I want to roll before I start to now craft. So this one has the crit chance, effectiveness, crit damage. You cannot get attack onto a chest plate. So this last stat can be anything. It could be HP, it could be defense, it could be speed, whatever. What we really want out of the chest plate is high crit chance, high crit damage, high effectiveness. Again, if you don't roll effectiveness, it's totally cool, right? It's totally cool. We're just going to supplement with other types of gear. Now, this one has a 5, well, what was that? 6 and a 4, so not amazing. I want a 47. I get a 45. Let's see if we can get a max roll here into crit chance. We get a 3. I'm a little bit under. A little bit under, honestly. I want a 57 here, and I only get a 53. I think this is the only chest plate that I have. It is. So I'm going to go ahead and take this up to the next level. Let's go to plus 12. Now, I generally don't like to do this because if it rolls into effect resist, that's like a worst case scenario. Why? Why do I say these things? I blame myself. That's what it is. I blame myself. Now, we can still use this piece, right? We can still use it. Let's go back to what we need for our stats. So our Terranor Garter has 15%. So we get 12% from the critical. And this means that we need something like, what, 73? 73 to get to 100. We have 6 pieces. So we need 10 on every piece. Now, if I roll this Rage Gear, Here it is. And it rolls at least one time. This will go to a 9. I need at least 10. So I would like to see an 8 here or two rolls into crit chance on every single piece and no rolls into effect resist. Now you can mod this into a 7 to 11 HP defense. You can mod it into I think a 3 to 5 speed or maybe a 2 to 4 speed. I can't remember. I think this is good. I think it's going to be perfectly fine. I say we roll it and that way we have one less piece of gear. Now don't go into effect resist again. Okay. Whew, getting a little scared there. So this one comes out to a 76. We're going to reforge it. It's probably going to come into a 90, and there's that 9 crit chance. You know, if I could have gone into crit damage or into crit chance instead of this effect resist roll, that'd have been much better, but at least we have our first piece of gear. We are still trying to build that Terranor guard, so let's go in and see what we get from this rage gear. Now, when I'm rolling this epic level gear, I want to start with a 29. I get a 31, which is amazing because now if I get a min roll or two, it's not going to be too bad. Now, this is a chest plate, so we cannot get attack. So we're looking at crit chance, crit damage, speed, and effectiveness if you can. If it has health or if it has defense, that shouldn't be too bad. We don't want them too fast, but if it does roll pretty fast, then that's okay because we can use it on some different heroes. Hopefully, we don't get any more rolls into health. There's a good roll there on crit damage. I want to have a 47. I get a 50, so we're doing pretty good. Let's get two rolls and a crit chance now. Not yet. That's actually a pretty good roll, too. I saw a 6 and a 7. Fantastic. Let's go to plus 12 here. And we see a 3. Now, that's not ideal. I needed to have two rolls here in a crit chance. This is becoming an issue where it's going to be hard to get a high crit chance score on our heroes if we don't get at least one roll into every piece of gear, then put that crit chance set on. Let's see if we can. Oh, we can't. Let's see. We'll use these. Wow, that's a lot of clicking, bro. So much clicking. Now, can we do it? We can. Let's see it. Crit chance right here. Please don't give me health. Here's some health. Thanks a lot. We see an 83. Actually, very good. Very good. When we reforge this piece of gear, we're going to get something around about a 96. Now, in the future, one thing they're going to do is they're going to show you how the gear score changes. This one only shows it when you are holding down, right? It doesn't show you what it's going to go into. So I always just I kind of guess at it a little bit. But in the future, they're going to change this to where it shows you now that it's going to go from this to that after reforge, which really, I suppose, doesn't help us any because we're not trying to hit plus 15 on gear unless we're going to reforge it. So I guess it's nice to see, but not really going to affect our decisions. Let's go now into a pair of boots. Now this one does not have crit chance. So we want to see that we have some crit damage, effectiveness, and speed and avoid this defense. That way we can mod this into a crit chance. So this is going to be good on someone like a Terranor guard because we just love defense. Thank you for that defense roll. Okay, we get an 8 effectiveness. So we recovered a little bit. I want a 47. I get a 51. No more defense. No. Come on. Now we can still get out of this. We're at a 63. I want to be at a 56 right now. So we can choose to mod this speed into crit chance. But I mean, it's really not ideal. It's really not. I don't want to give up a 17 defense for like a 3 to 5 crit chance. So if this is something that you really want to go forward with, then I think it's good. But if you roll another time into defense, then you might just have to throw that piece away. So right now we're at a 74. I only want to have a 66. I only want to have a 66. I think I'm going to take off this speed, which I know seems like a terrible idea, but I think it's going to be worth it. And we get a 4 into crit damage now. Not amazing. I want at least a 77. An 80 is really what I want to be at. I get an 85. So that's going to be a fantastic piece of gear after we reforge this. I like it. Let's see what we get up to. Maybe 99, 97. Very, very cool. When I started playing on this account a couple of weeks ago, they had 57,000 even reputation. So now we're going to increase that just by a little bit, a little bit. It's going to be a lot of bit. We see that we have leveled up some heroes, and that's good. We're getting higher friendship, which is important because we get these covenant bookmarks, but also because we are leveling up and getting the free Mulagora from the 4 and 5 star starting units. So do not neglect that. What you should be doing is you should be going in and using your max level heroes. Level up those heroes with penguins, which is why it's important to have that lobby pet, right? And then use those heroes inside your story mode or wherever so that you're able to get the friendship, the free Molagoras, and also those covenant bookmarks. Now we see here, very interesting, that this person did not have any of these recipes, right? Didn't have any of the recipes. Like this is Katie's 3. They didn't do any Katie's. But what happens when you go too fast inside your hunts is that you fail to collect these, then you have to go back and redo them. So when you get to 3, 5, and 7, make sure that you stop and collect this reward so that you don't have to redo it and waste some of those energy. I think there's still some to go. Look at this. Golem 7, Banshee 7. These are both on 13. Both on 13. So now we have to go back and waste some energy to go and finish those. And that's actually going to come in handy because we're going to go in and start to use our alchemist steeple to level up some of that crafting materials. This one here is just basically collecting things. Boots, necklaces, rings. You really don't get this aside from just playing. No big deal. I played the game. That's cool. And then we can collect this and move on. But that currency will give you a lot more um, for like getting charms and things when we go into the ancient coins. Now we have the labyrinth. So you can see here, explore Royal Capital 100. You get 500 of these ancient coins, 200 for doing it, and then you get another 10 that allows you to go and get the Queen Guards badge that we already talked about. We only had up to A10. So we did 11, 12, and 13. Now we're farming this in about 2.5 to 3 minutes, which is pretty good. We're going to collect all this as well. Very nice. I don't think this is enough conquest points though to get another piece of gear, but it does give us reforged material, which is pretty good. Then going into expeditions, now this part is interesting. I haven't really been trying to get these. I'm just developing the expedition teams and then hitting auto battle, and it's doing really well. So we see that we did over 1.1 million onto this is the water, and 1.3 million onto the um, dark. Yes. Now we do have one down here somewhere. I think it's this I think it's brutal, 1.8 million. This one is full clear on the Fire Expo. You usually have to do this manual. Now, once you get to a certain point with the team that I had showed you in the previous video, my team will do 1.8 and they will kill the whole thing on auto battle without me even messing with it. So this is good. Hopefully, well, click the wrong thing. I guess you can't select all. That sucks. We're just going to go ahead and select them. And I'm not doing Dagger Sakar on purpose here, but you know, this will give us some more ammunition to buy the bottle from the shop every single week. Oh look, we get two. And you get some emojis, which are obviously very important for the game. Coming into the alchemist steeple now, what we want to do is go to crafting materials. Now you can do this on your own for whichever one you want. I specifically want to come down and do this 5 times per day for the A13. This is going to give us a couple of extra summons we wouldn't normally get, and all we really lose is the gold, right? we're not going to craft like level 65 gear or whatever this is. So why not convert it to 85? Maybe you get lucky, and maybe we won't have to run the hunt as much, and get some of that gear to gear up all of our heroes, which is I think very important for this player and this portion of the game. 5 times per day, come in and do it every day. You should have that done in, I don't know, about 5 or 6 days. Helmet's just so hard. I don't have any luck with these helmets. On my main account, I think I don't have like more than 13 speed on a helmet. It's the most ridiculous thing. You think that it would get pretty good, given that we have amazing stats with our helmets. It just doesn't turn out that way. There's my one roll into crit chance. Very nice. We can keep this as a health or mod it into attack. For something like a Terranor Guard, I'm not really as concerned with having high attack as I am having good crit chance and good effectiveness. We can take this later and put it on someone like a Mort or an Illinav or someone who does damage based on HP if we keep this thing. And I think at 67, we're doing pretty well. A lot of our other gear already rolled good HP. So I think this is one we're going to stick with. I want a 66. I get a 67. Let's finish it out and then move on. I think really. Oh, man, come on. One more roll into crit chance would have been great. But I do get that 80 when we reforge this. We should get about a 93. Nice. Let's continue rolling our gear with hopefully what's going to be a very good necklace. This is a good combination that I like. We see crit chance, speed, and effectiveness. Then we can see defense, HP, or even attack here, and that'll be good. I want to get at least 1 or 2 rolls into crit chance because that'll make it a lot easier to gear out something like this Terranor Guard onto the Rage set, right? So hopefully we get something like that. Now we get a 7 roll there into defense. There's nothing wrong with that. We can still put this onto a nice bruiser hero later, or even someone who does damage based on defense. So pretty good. Now we had a 2, then we see a 4, a 7, and a 3. I want to see a 66 here. I see a 68, which is good. Ideally, I would want one more roll in a crit chance, but I'm just not getting them today. Not getting them, but this one's going to be a good piece for someone. Wait, there it is. That is great. We have a 11. That's going to take us to a 14 with an 11 speed. I like it. This one's pretty good at a 94 equipment score. Here we go with our initial build on Terranor Guard. Now I want to get at least 3,000 attack. I'd like to get 250 or more crit damage and then 100% crit chance with 85 to 95 effectiveness. This is going to give me a good balance of doing damage and being able to land that defense break on his S number 1. Now, one thing that you can do if you're investing in your Terranor Guard is to unlock his imprint concentration. That'll give you an extra 11% chance to crit. Now for this one, I don't really want to spend additional resources, which is why we have him into the Grace of Growth. So what we're going to do is we are going to switch him from a crit damage necklace into something like a crit chance necklace. This is going to be more consistent and it's going to help you to beat those abyss levels. Again, don't forget that while he is our main damage dealer, his main function is to cycle. So we're bringing in constant dual attacks. He's supposed to cycle the team so that we take more turns. And by definition, we are going to do much more damage that way. So if we look at some of his rage gear now that we have, right, hopefully we can find something else that will match him a little better. Like this one has attack and crit damage and effectiveness. So that's going to give him an increase since we don't really care about that crit chance anymore. Maybe we can find something on the necklace. I don't think so. Or this is the helmet. This will be pretty much the same thing on the helmet. And then I think the same thing as well onto the chest plate. I want to utilize those on some different heroes, so not something that we really need at this time. Now with the boots, I think that we're good to go here since they don't have crit chance. And then maybe if we look at the crit chance um, ring, maybe we find one that's a little bit better. I'm not certain. Let's look at that again. So this one gives us a little bit more onto the effectiveness. We don't really need more effectiveness. We don't really need to have more crit chance here either. So what we have is a 5, and this one is going to be a 4. I like it. Let's go ahead and go with that. This is going to be our final build onto Terranor Guard with our Daydream Joker, which I hope to max out pretty soon. Now, this is the one that we're going to use all the way through Abyss 120, probably with a little luck. Y'all remember all of that rage gear that we rolled with really high HP? Well, we are going to build a shoe. First, let's go ahead and put her imprint on. That'll give an extra 2.8% chance to crit. I don't understand why there's a decimal place on critting. It seems just silly. Why don't you just make it 8 or 9? I don't know, man. So what we're going to do is we are going to come into our penetration set. So you guys remember we did craft some penetration gear, especially this necklace. So really high into pen. This would be great on somebody like a Ravi if we had one, but we're gonna put it onto shoe for right now. Then I noticed we also have this arena piece. Now, the arena at this level is not going to roll fantastic. So when we're looking at something like a Reforge level 85, I want a 90 or more. This is basically going to be heroic level gear, but it's going to work for us. Now let's go into the Rage set, and of course, I don't have very much of it, so it's really not going to matter too much. I'm just going to use a level 15 pieces, and we're going to come out to 21k, 1200 defense. We're going to come out to 75% chance to crit, and this is going to come up to 90% chance in Nightmare Karkanis because we get that bonus, right? So that will be pretty good. With this shoe complete, we're going to look at the rest of the Karkanis team. Now, I have improved Angelic Montmorency, so she's going to work a lot better. We can further improve her effect resist here with an 18%. That's going to bring her above 200, which should be good. Then we're going to bring in our Brieg. I like him. I think he's working out pretty well. Ideally, I think I would like to make him maybe a couple speeds slower and a little bit more HP, but we're going to build up this gear over time. And it looks like I can still reforge one piece once I get some materials. So now what we need to do is we need to pair one of the um, ice heroes. So we cannot use Seaside Bologna because she has a passive ability, right? The same thing, we can't use something like an Elvira. We can't use any of those that are going to counterattack like a Mui. We probably don't want to use a Luna even because she's going to lose a lot of that crit chance and her damage from her passive ability. We can try and bring in something like a cigarette just for a little bit more damage. But what I'm kind of thinking is that Shu plus Brieg should be enough damage here. So I want to bring in something like an Angelica or even something like an Amelia. Amelia will help cycle. She'll also bring in an attack buff, and she has a cleanse, which is also very good. So that's really what my choice would be, is to pull in Amelia, who will be also be useful into other types of PvE content, much more than I think an Angelica would. So let's go ahead and we're going to build her out next. Now, what I've gone for here is just basic functionality. This is gear that no one else is using, including some, well, pretty much all arena gear, plus a level 78 piece, and then plus this 90 piece here that I don't really have anyone to use at the moment. Now, what we want to do is we want to pair out a decent artifact that's going to help her cycle a little faster or to do some more healing. Now, because we're bringing the Montmorency, I like to use Magahars. This is going to help her to cycle faster every single time that she does an S2 or an S3. And this is going to finish out our Nightmare Karkanis team. Now, if you have a Ran, he's going to work a lot better because he's going to be able to help you break the boss out of stealth. And we might end up building a Ran, but I don't really have the gear for that. And I really want to build some more attack based heroes for Guild War. So we're going to kind of see how it goes. But for right now, at least we have our very first Nightmare team. We're going to try it in our next video and maybe try and build out some more heroes as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Give me a like so other people just like you can find that as well. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck on your battles.